Alrighty, everybody. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Where the Long Grass Blows by Louis L'Amour. This book is a Western. It was written in 1976. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know I've been reviewing a lot of the Louis L'Amour books. I've got probably 100 of his novels. Probably reviewed maybe 30 to 35 of them. So we're about a third of the way through my Louis L'Amour collection. And trust me, we will get a review of every single one of those books eventually before I die. But anyway, today we're doing Where the Long Grass Blows. Now let's talk about the cover. You know I love graphic design and cover illustration. And this is one of my favorites on a Louis L'Amour book. I just think it's colorful. I love the red fall leaves on the trees. Love the big tree trunk, the big dark trunk. You can tell it's just a massive tree. Then we've got our two cowboys riding around up in front of it. It's just a really great illustration. And I tried to find out who the illustrator was on this, but I just could not find it. So, I mean, there's a signature down at the bottom, but I can't make it out. It's something like William O. something. Anyway. It's got, like every other book that Louis L'Amour writes, it's just got great prose. And this is how our main character sort of is introduced. And I'm going to read it to you because I love Louis L'Amour's prose so much. I always butcher it when I read it, but just bear with me. I'll try my best to make it presentable. Bill Canavan came alone, but he did not come seeking favors nor even work. He came as a conqueror, for Bill Canavan had made his decision. At 27, he was sitting in the middle of all he had owned: a splendid Appaloosa gelding, a fine California saddle of hand-toothed leather, a .44 Winchester rifle, and two walnut-butted Colt .44 pistols. These were all his, all he owned. Behind him was a life that began with a birth in a covered wagon rolling westward, a boyhood in the gold and silver boom camps of California, Nevada, Montana, and Colorado, and a cattle drive over the Chisholm Trail, another over the Goodnight Loving Trail, being shotgun guard on a stagecoach and scouting Indians for the Army. He had fought rustlers and Kiowas and Comanches and Apaches and Sioux and Blackfeet, with nothing to show for it but a few scars here and there, and his memories of hunger, thirst, cold, of hard winters and day range and long dusty drives. All it had brought him was trouble and hard riding. Now his decision was made. He was going to ride for himself and fight for himself and settle down. And that's what he does. We open up with our main guy, Bill Canavan, coming up over a ridge and looking down across a lush valley. He's like, this is where I want to settle amongst all these farms and ranches and things. And he's talking to his horse. I mean, he's a loner. He's talking to his horse. He's like, this is a good place to live. This will be wonderful for us. Doesn't it look beautiful down there? And he's just talking to his horse, which is this, described as this, black spotted white Appaloosa, which the artist got right. And as he's talking to his horse, just having a conversation, some girls, like, can hear him, and she startles him. She's like, why are you talking to the horse? And he's like, oh, God, you heard me? And she's like, that's pretty fucking weird to be talking to your horse like that. And he's like, well, my horse is a badass horse. And she's like, but I bet your horse ain't as badass as my horse. And because my horse is named Flame, and he's fast. And Bill Canavan is like, you ain't no fucking way your horse is faster than mine. And then they challenge each other to a race down into the town. And so they race down into the town. And it's kind of a cool little opening. And then we jump into one of the many tropes that Louis L'Amour writes about all the time. And about a third of his books are about range wars, about a lone cowboy coming into a new place and finding out that all the ranchers and cattlemen and cow rustlers They're all fighting over the land and who owns what and what cows are branded with what brands and can we steal this horse or that bit of land, and that's what he's run into here again. And so Bill Canavan, and then plus there's always a woman, a lone woman that owns a small little farm and just wants to do her own little thing, but all these cattle ranchers are battling around her and they probably want to take her stuff too, plus they all want to reins out. And you know how it goes, and Bill Canavan's the hero. He's the pistol packing, gunslinging 44, Colt. What did they describe it as? I'm going to read that again. The walnut butted Colt 44 pistols. That's what he's packing, and he comes to her defense as they do in all the Louis L'Amour range war books. So Louis L'Amour kind of has several different type of books. He's got the range war, open range. Did you ever see Open Range with Kevin Costner? Probably all of that taken right out of all the Louis L'Amour range war books. And then he's got the Lost Spanish Gold, let's go on a quest for the lost Spanish gold type novels, where they're out in the desert looking for the lost Spanish gold. And then he's got the gunslinger ones, where someone's just a gunslinger. And then he's got the ones where the bounty hunter is chasing someone. And then he's got the ones where the lone cowboy saves people, which kind of is in all of them, actually. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, he gets involved with the woman. He has to defend her and her small farm from the other bad cattle ranchers, and it's basically it. But it's well written. Like everything else Louis L'Amour writes, you can expect well written prose, almost just poetic prose, descriptions of the Old West and the desert that will blow your mind, and then descriptions of just the different cowboys. Each get their own. Every cowboy gets his own characterization. Gets to wear his own types of rifles and pistols and buck knives and hats. We get to describe. I love that. I love that about Louis L'Amour, that nobody goes undescribed. They all get a paragraph of just perfect. You just know who they are and what they're wearing, and a lot of times what they're thinking. But anyway, I actually really liked, I think this is one of his better range war type novels, where the long grass blows. I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. I actually dug it quite a bit, and we will be doing more Louis L'Amour reviews soon.